Well, hi YouTube, it's Rande and Susan from the Blue Bottle Bunny Farm, and today we wanted to talk about the Mandella Effect.
Right.
The Mandella Effect is a way of people remembering things differently. It's like some people remember Mandela dying in the 80s, and some people remember, and then he just died recently. You know, they had that crazy interpreter at his funeral, remember?
It was giving out sign language, which nobody that knows sign really quite understood. Very unusual circumstance, and another
What if
unusual...
he was doing some kind of witchy stuff up there, you know?
Very well could be.
You know, like some kind of ritual.
Also, something unusual is that funeral is probably attended by more world leaders than any other funeral in our past history. They seem to have some just strange stuff associated around it.
So if there was any witchy stuff going around, they were all going to be there for it.
Right. Exactly.
Their attendance was required for the witchy stuff. And
give one of the other examples about the...
the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, we can talk about that, and then we'll talk about the other.
Yeah. Well, I remember it being the Berenstain Bears, like all my life. I always remember thinking that was a weird spelling, and so, but you don't remember
and I'm just
that
a little
way.
older, and I remember the Berstein, S-T-E-I-N, and Stein is what you drink out of. You know, I took German in school, and so, you know, I don't know if that qualifies me any better for memory, but it's like a Stein that you drink beer out of.
Yeah.
And I very clearly remember it being the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah, and I remember it being stain because I always thought of like a bear stain on my rug.
You can look up some other articles on YouTube to understand this a little further.
Yeah, there's also, what are some other examples of the Mandela
The
Effect?
mirror on the wall.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all remember from Snow White, is it?
Yeah.
You know, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Well, why has that changed in our history now? Why is that something
now they
different?
say it's magic mirror on the wall, but I distinctly remember mirror, mirror on the wall.
And there seems to be literature that represents both of these facts, along with the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of literature going way back to would it be 70s? I'm not exactly sure how
I don't know,
far
I was
it
a
goes
kid
back.
in the 70s and I read those books.
But it's the websites and things associated with that, S-T-E-I-N. And then the more recent stuff seems to be S-T-A-I-N, like a Bernstein Bears.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I wonder if that was one of those moments. Like I had a Mandela moment just now.
Possibly so. So what started the conversation today was we have a pretty good microscope. So
yeah, we just got a new microscope from Amazon, and we were looking at the dollar bill because we wanted to see the little owl.
I want to see the owl again.
Yeah, so it's not there anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And I very distinctly remember seeing with my own eyes under magnification that should have been ample for that. Worked at a jewelry store and studied diamonds.
We used to look at it with the loupe. We used to look at the little owl with the loupe, and I think we used the magnifying glass too. We used the magnifying glass today and could not find it, and we couldn't find it with the microscope either.
Yeah, and I remember him being a very well-shaped, well-drawn owl, kind of like the white owl from the White Owl cigars. And, of course, this relates back to Moloch.
You think?
Absolutely. Which is an owl-type figure that they're going to go and worship in Bohemian Grove. 50-foot statue of an owl that they're going to all be tracing around in the middle of the night.
The owl is also the logo for the Bohemian Club, and I remember the owl kind of being like that, and you sort of saw a profile of his wing, and it was a very distinct little drawing, and funny enough, I remember there being 3 owls.
There are reports of that figure showing up more than one time on the dollar bill. The one we're most familiar with is the one in the upper right-hand corner next to the 1.
And I thought there were 3 owls tucked up there in different spots. We went and looked at it today under the microscope and with the magnifying glass, and it doesn't look like an owl anymore.
It doesn't resemble anything like an owl at all.
Looks like a spider.
Yeah.
It has 8 legs.
Or it honestly looks like pretty simple and plain engraving techniques, which I've seen from some antique engravings.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we think that that's the Mandela effect happening to us today. And if you remember the owl, oh, here's the weird thing too. We went to YouTube to see if we could find any videos about the owl, and so
yeah, the videos about the owl seem to really be missing from that. And
yeah, so it's like next to nothing. Did they go away? Did YouTube take them down? Were they never ever even made because there's never been an owl?
So we have to ask ourselves, is this a conspiracy? And have they had time to reprint those dollars since they got caught with their pants down? Yeah,
hiding owls in plain sight.
Right, which probably didn't go real well for them. And they would have at least motive to change that. Or is it something bigger and far more
spookier,
mysterious than that?
Like Jonathan Kleck talks about the money having predictions of the future and past events, like the Hoover Dam, the Twin Towers.
The Twin Towers going up in smoke when everything's folded a certain way.
Yeah, the way you can fold it a certain way and get pictures to appear that normally aren't there.
Seems to be an issue with the tidal wave coming into New York too. With some of the buildings.
That's one of them. He says it's like this spiritual world manifesting in the physical world.
Right. Things in,
So did the owl just like disappear? Was it a spirit owl that just flew away?
Or as things change in the spiritual world, did our history actually change?
Yeah.
We know that in the movie 1984 that one of their goals was to change history.
Yeah,
matter of fact, what's his name?
Winston Smith.
That was his job.
Yeah,
right?
He worked in the Ministry of Truth where he went back and changed history. And so, did they actually change history physically? Could it be something going on with CERN?
Right. Is that something that was changed just as it was portrayed in the movie or the story of 1984?
Or did it have a more metaphysical kind of...
And does it actually change?
Yeah. That's some pretty spooky stuff.
Right. Which could be different dimensions. I mean, we've heard a lot about this, where there will be parallel dimensions where different possibilities of history, the present the present comes about, and actually there's more than one alternative.
Yeah, different timelines.
Yeah.
And so we were just wondering
if anybody else has anything to add to this.
Yeah.
How many of
Do you have your own Mandela effect that has happened to y'all in your personal life, or have you seen the owl? Do you know where he went?
Right. Right. I'd like to know where the little owl went.
Yeah. Do you know of a video where we can see the owl? Because I remember the owl, and there's nothing there. It's not
I remember very clearly.
And I know I'm not looking in the wrong place.
Right. And I do remember. I do recall looking for the owl. I was going to show somebody this about probably 6 months ago, a year ago, something like that. And I went to hunt for the owl, and it's like, where'd he go? Well, he just must be so small I can't see him right now. Because he really was not apparent to me at that time. And, time prior to that, it was just absolutely very clear.
Yeah, I remember it being very clear, too. So, anyway, tell us your thoughts about the owl or the Mandela effect or, anything along those lines.
Right.